I would rather believe in God, even if I am wrong, just in case. If I am wrong, then I have nothing to lose. But if I am right, then I have everything to gain.
Okay, this reasoning is just wacky top to bottom. I like to refer to this ideology as the insurance for my soul, and I will break it down into 4 separate problems. Number 1, this insurance for my soul ideology must first accept a disturbing premise that if there is a God, it will be casting people into hell for not believing in it. Why would anybody assume such a demented idea would be true? Especially considering how this God fails to manifest in any kind of realistic way. Which leads me to number 2. Essentially, this insurance for my soul is admitting to a lack of evidence. They are essentially saying, yeah, you're right. The evidence for this particular belief is dismal, but you should believe anyways, just in case. Okay, so we are first assuming that not believing, a thought you feel inside your head, is the unforgivable crime, worse than murder or even raping children. And then we are admitting to a lack of evidence for this silent, invisible God who speaks only through men, who, by the way, are proven to be untrustworthy. Oh, and he desperately needs your money. But if this is not ridiculous enough already, number 3 is a topper. Could this God be so shallow that he will allow people into heaven based off of a just-in-case ideology? As if God is okay if people don't really completely believe, just so long as they say they do, and will burn everybody else who recognizes the overwhelming lack of evidence to even slightly assume this horrific theology is true. I'm sorry, this is not only wacky, it is disturbingly demented. It essentially implies that pretension and willful ignorance will save you, but critical thinking will condemn you. If there's a God out there watching over us, I would certainly hope it favors integrity over pretension and critical thinking over voluntary ignorance. My final problem with this insurance for my soul ideology, number 4, is that we have other religions also claiming hell to all non-believers. How surprising. A rather spooky way to secure subscribers or insurance for my soulers. However, for somebody who does not believe, this only compounds the irrational. Must we have an insurance plan with every God who claims hell to non-believers? Which one do we choose when they are all equally lacking any evidence to support their outlandish claims? If you were not first indoctrinated by a trusted parent or authority figure into subscribing to one particular ideology, then you have a real problem here with this insurance for my soul plan, unless you buy into all of them. In fact, perhaps Christians should consider subscribing to Allah, just in case. On that note, perhaps a Christian might begin to realize just how ridiculous this insurance for my soul ideology is or sounds to a non-believer. It is so backwards and illogical, it surprises me how often Christians will say it. Let's rewind and recap on the very first premise for this insurance for my soul ideology. Essentially, you can kill somebody in cold blood, or even rape children, and be forgiven. But failing to believe in this invisible God, essentially a thought crime, is unforgivable? For this you will be roasted? Can you possibly imagine a more demented theology? I cannot. I have even had people tell me that someone like me, who actually speaks out against such awful theologies, will suffer an even worse fate, as if this God will see to it that I will suffer in the most extreme possible way. Folks, this concept of hell within a few select religions is absurd, and most good-hearted Christians actually recognize this, and they will tend to ignore a hell doctrine or even attempt to dismiss it. Understandably so. I would submit that if there is a God, whatever any human thinks it is, that is definitely what it is not. And if we are eternal or spirit beings, your eternal life will not depend upon which God you worshipped here on this tiny little planet, among a universe so vast and likely to be teeming with life across unfathomable light years. Folks, we cannot even begin to comprehend what is behind or within our universe. And I would strongly recommend that we all start admitting we don't know what we cannot know. Instead, let us begin taking care of each other and our animal friends. Help make this life a little easier for those around us. If there is a reward at the end of the rainbow, certainly it will depend on how much you have cared for others, and not whether you believed or lacked belief in any number of religious constructs. Stay strong and wise, my friends.
I don't believe in masquerades. I don't believe that you're okay. I don't believe that God will save. Only you can solve your problems. I don't care what they sold you. They are not here to hold you. Don't